How's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? Give people a chance to log on. Hope everybody's doing well. Mhm. Well, as I give everybody a chance to log on, um, I wanted to give everybody just a brief overview of how a convo with BMAC came about. A couple of years ago, uh, I was going through a few things, and while going through the things I was going through, I talked to a friend of mine, and because I wanted to help others because I knew people were going through things similar to what I was going through, and they encouraged me to start a platform uh, because mental health in my community is kind of looked down upon, and it's even worse from a male perspective. We're not encouraged to discuss our issues. So I decided to come up with a combo for BMAC with BMAC, excuse me. And I did it for almost a year, and I kind of got burnt out because I wasn't handling it the way I needed to. Needless to say, we're back. We're going to be a different format of sorts, but we're back. And I have one of my awesome friends here with me today, Miss Nika Smith. She's a great friend to the show. She always brings awesome insight and commentary, and she's kind of a comedian as well, so you have to kind of watch her. So, without any further ado, thank you everybody. And here is Miss Smith, kind of a comedian as well, so you have to kind of watch
Hey, I was on here trying to use technology and share this live stream, and clearly
her.
I'm having issues, but thank
Listen,
you. Thank you
thank,
for having me.
thank you. I appreciate you as always for making time in your busy schedule, for coming in. You've been an extremely big supporter, and just on a personal note, when I've gone through things, I've been able to go to you, and you've been supportive. You've given me the tough love and kind of helped me right the ship. So um, I'm indebted to you forever for that. So I believe in giving people their flowers.
Well, I appreciate it, and certainly you have been a listening ear for me over the years. So I was so excited to know you had started this platform, a couple of years ago because
Mm,
it's so necessary to hear from Black men and to talk about, mental health and the
right,
struggles that they have because it's not an easy thing to talk about,
right.
for really most people of color, but definitely for the Black man. And so for you to kind of open that up, just super proud of you in doing this. So thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And we talked a couple of days ago, a week or two ago, and when this epiphany hit me, and about wanting to do the show, and came up with the whole holiday mental health checkup because, and it's for me. You think about the holidays. We just had Thanksgiving pass. We got Christmas coming. With the holidays being here, it brings about a lot of different emotions.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, it's the nostalgia of Christmas and gift giving, and yet that's the high,
Yeah.
but there's the low that comes with that.
Hmm.
Um, Whether it's you're grieving the loss of a loved one,
Hmm.
you're grieving the loss of a relationship,
Mm.
whatever that may be. Those things are hard to get once they get a hold to you. They're really difficult
Yeah.
for you to be able to be present in the moment and be grateful of where you are at this moment in time. You're here to be able to celebrate or enjoy another holiday with those people that are still present in your
Hmm.
life.
Hmm.
So just want to talk about that a little bit, and then we'll kind of we'll move forward and try to give people some tools and tips
Yeah.
on if they're in that space or if they ever been in that space.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. There's so many different emotions that come up for the holidays. Of course, you think of the holidays, like you said, it's the high and
mhm,
it's the fun part. It's all of the, the parties and the food and the drinks and all of this stuff. But when you've lost someone, and I know quite a few people who recently lost very close people to them.
mhm,
Um, you have that, kind of recent loss for a lot of folks. This is the first Thanksgiving. This is the first Christmas. It's the first
right,
New Year, first birthday. And if you've had that tradition of being with these family members or these people in your life,
right,
that grief is there. But then there's also the person may have been gone for a really long time. It could be years. My grandmother's been gone almost 20 years, and
right,
some days it feels like yesterday. And Christmas is one of her favorite holidays, and so I can't not think about her
mhm,
during this time. And so you have a lot of emotions are coming up, and sometimes people are coping in unhealthy ways, right? We all cope differently, and
right,
so you because this is a even though it's supposed to be Jesus is supposed to be the reason for the season, folks start coping with libations. You know what I mean? Like it's
throw
like
them up.
let me get one more bartender. You know what I
Right, right,
mean?
right,
Or people plying you with alcohol and we have to be so careful about that kind of stuff because that can lead to other things, right? It can be
right,
problematic.
right,
But yeah, this is it's six and one half a dozen the other. They're the wonderful things we think about in the holiday, and then the other is like, man, this is hard.
right. Exactly. And to use myself for example, and you mentioned your grandmother. I lost my grandmother earlier this year. I lost two uncles this year.
Mm,
And 2023 has been one of those years where you just like, I thought it was supposed to be my year. It
mm.
was. It just wasn't the year that I thought it was. It was my year to, it was my year, to test faith and a lot of other things. And
Yes.
so we have to try to find a way to push through, to endure.
Mm,
And I'm not gonna sit here and act like it's easy. I'm because it's easy for people to get on platforms and try to gloss it over and be like, "Oh, you just got to do this." Man, forget all that. There are days where you just don't want to get out of bed because it's hard,
yeah.
you know.
Yes.
But we have to find a reason to keep fighting. Um,
Yeah.
and despite what your mind tells you, there are people that still care about you and want
Yeah.
to see you succeed. And that's one of the things I want to make sure I tell people.
Yeah.
When your mind tells you, maybe it's best, if you're not here, that is the biggest lie this side of the earth. You know, you hurt people more than you help them by
Yeah.
doing so.
Yeah.
Um, you just have to keep believing, that there's a purpose for your life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
I think too, when we look, I remembered when my grandmother passed away. My grandmother raised me, right? So it's like, she was my mom to a certain degree.
right.
And it was sudden,
Hmm.
wasn't any,
Hmm.
And I remember for months and months and months just thinking, everything's different, everything's changed, everything's different, everything's changed. And just one day, maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 months later, it just came to me that because it was supposed to,
Right. Oh
it was supposed
wow.
to change.
Wow.
And that didn't make the grief easier, but it was like it helped me understand like the cycle of life. Like nothing stays the same. And so when when you're struggling with the depressive and even it's maybe thoughts of harming yourself or wanting to go to sleep and not wake up, just
Mhm.
remember that life it's about change. It's not
Right.
going to stay the same. And though we miss those people
Mm.
and we miss their presence and we miss all of the things about them,
Mhm.
instead of thinking I can't go on without them, let's think about, well, because they were here, what impact did they have on me, maybe that now I can give to the world,
Right.
because of that. And it can be hard to do in the moment, but every day just keep getting up, keep waking up. You know what I mean? It might not be the best day in the world, but just keep waking up
Mm-hmm.
and keep, brushing your teeth and putting some clothes on.
Right.
Um, because one day it won't be as hard,
Mm-hmm.
still hard, right, in a
Right.
lot of ways, but not, you know,
Mm-hmm.
all the time. And so I think, we have to release it, to your point, release this expectation that we're supposed to get over it right away and we'll be fine and I'm all right, and
Right.
pretending and putting this mask on. Like, you don't have to do that. And
Mm-hmm.
if you find yourself feeling like you got to do that for people,
Mm-hmm.
those aren't your people.
Mm.
It's not your people.
Woo. Now you said something then.
Mm,
Feeling like you have to be okay for other people and they
mm,
can't understand and allow you that time and that space
yeah.
to, to get through these things, though those aren't the people that really for you,
Yeah.
you know.
In that moment, right?
Exactly.
Like maybe in the past or maybe in the time to come, but for now, like I can't, what I need, I can't get that from you.
Right.
So you adjust your expectation
Mm-hmm.
for them, and then they can adjust the expectation for you,
Right.
right?
Right. Right. And while we're sitting here talking, and I forgot to open up the chat box, and Miss Smith, I love her dearly. Never had the pleasure of meeting her. She said, "God bless you both. Thank you for sharing this topic." She said, "We need this. Love you, Mom."
Hello.
We love you, Miss Smith.
We love you so much. I love
And
you.
good friend of mine, Q, he says, "Thank you all for speaking on mental health. Appreciate you, bro, for what you do as well."
Mm,
Back to our topic, and you were talking about, maybe those people aren't for you right now. I thought about something else.
mm,
Another way people tend to cope is why they're afraid to be alone in their own
mm,
head, and so they're constantly going and busy, and just they've always got to do something because
yeah.
they don't want to have to kind of sort through that emotional baggage,
Mm, mm-hmm.
and it's a scary place at times being inside your own head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scary place,
Yeah.
but it's necessary for us to sort through it so we can
Right.
move forward. If not, you're gonna be on that hamster wheel that it's just like you're gonna be going in circles
Right. Right.
because you're not ever taking the steps to move. Uh-oh, somebody is upset with you.
I don't know what's going on outside, but he is
He is not for
interested in it. And it ain't nothing I could do. I mean,
right.
let's my apologies.
Listen, we're good. I look. He doesn't want any of that smoke outside. So we go.
That's my dog Perfecto. He is apparently heard something outside and want the people driving by to know that he's here,
Right.
which they don't know nothing about him being in here, but here we are.
Listen. He's trying to earn his keep. He's like, I'm doing a good job. I'm doing a good job. But uh, and on that same vein, my little sister Chantal, who you know,
Mhm.
she convinced me. It's probably been a few months back to do. I think what was it, 100 days of gratitude. I had never done it before,
Oh wow.
and it didn't dawn on us till we were like a month in. She was like, "Oh, I guess I could have just said do 30 days," but it was my first time doing it, so I did 100 days of gratitude, and it was I would describe it as a beautiful struggle,
Mm-hmm.
because it was difficult, and because ultimately at the end of the goal is to find something to be grateful for each and every day,
Oh, okay. Mm.
and want to try to find something different each day,
Yeah.
and you can journal it, you can document it however you choose. I chose to, I posted it on my Facebook page,
Mm.
and I posted because I wanted to chronicle it, and anybody that saw it, well, maybe they ask me about it, and it may help them.
Yeah.
And it was tough, and in some of the posts I went in, I literally said this is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Finding a way, to just to you still again being inside your own head, and having to be present and like, yo, today really wasn't a good day.
Yeah.
And because we all have them,
Yeah.
whether it's the holidays or just in life in general,
Hmm.
we have to get out of this whole mindset of what social media tells us now. It used to be
Hmm.
Hollywood. Now it's
Yeah.
social media telling us, oh, life is great. Life
Yeah.
is wonderful.
Yeah.
Life is what we make of it, yes, but it's
Yeah.
not all, you know, just great days. We're
Yeah.
gonna have days where we just it's 12 o'clock noon and we wish the day was over with already.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
It's not this, you look at social media, it's, these perfectly, manicured existences of these people like, oh, this is my reset day. And, they, vacuuming and clean all this stuff. Like, hey, my life is terrible. I haven't done none of this stuff. I can't never get this done. Right. And
Hmm.
so, you have people looking at that, right? Because one thing about Hollywood, you can just say, oh, that was a movie, or oh, that's just that.
Right.
Now you're looking at people like this person the same age as I am, or they live in the same neighborhood, they got the same amount of kids. And you start questioning your reality. And it's not really fair to you,
Right.
right? To do that. And to your point, it's like we have to really take a step back and look at our own the good things. To your point, have gratitude for the things in our own lives. I have always had a problem with trying to do gratitude journals. Like because I always feel like I'm not grateful enough.
Mm,
Like I'm not grateful enough. And
mm,
so I can journal anything. I journal my feelings, my thoughts, but that gratitude journal, I'm always starting and stopping. So I
mm.
might have to add, a challenge, a 30-day challenge or something myself, because um even though I feel like I am grateful, it just is like, is this enough? You know what I mean? Is this enough? And I think that's what I probably need to take away, like thinking about, is that enough?
Right.
Like, don't focus on that.
Right.
Right. That's a part of just really being in my head.
Hmm.
But I understand that, and I think that's why things like therapy is so important, right? Or having someone to talk to about these feelings, right?
Right.
These thoughts of, like, again, looking at somebody else's life and looking at your life, or whether you're dealing with grief or relationship, and then we got a lot of folks who've lost jobs, right? We in a time of, some people can't have Christmas the way they've had it, and so now
Right.
their worth, a lot of people's worth is tied up in their job. Who
Right.
they are is tied up in that, and now you don't have that.
Hmm.
So it's a lot of a lot of stress and strain, anxiety and depression that comes along with that. And
Hmm.
if you bottle that stuff in, it
Hmm.
is going to come out, whether you talk it out or it comes through your body through sickness and illness, right? And stress. One of the things that I know we're talking about mental health, but there is that mind, body, spirit connection. And
Right.
so and one of the things I used to teach back in the day is stress management. Had a whole program on stress management, holistic stress management,
Mm.
with one of my colleagues, Dr. Nancy. And one of the things that we would often say is that, stress is the perception of a threat, essentially. So stress is not what's happening, like I'm stressed out, whatever. Stress is just a perception, is how you see things. But
Mm.
when you have allowed that stress to, once your brain starts thinking about all of these things, then it starts impacting your body, because now your brain is sending messages to your heart, to your adrenal glands, to all of these things, just
Mm.
sending blood and all of this stuff. So when you get sick and when you get all these other stress related diseases, which most diseases are, by the way, once you get them, then you become sick, right? And then you think, oh, I just can't became sick out of nowhere. No, 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 no. Your body has been under stress and under pressure for so long. Now you finally see the end result in sickness, but it's been happening. It didn't just
Mm.
happen yesterday. It didn't just happen when you got the test result. It didn't just happen when you had the heart attack or the stroke. It's been coming. And
Mm.
so when we're thinking about all this grief and some of the things that you're talking about, things happening, like, gotta be keenly aware. It's not just, the emotional, part of it. It is the physical part that's happening too, that's happening to your body, that's happening on the inside that you can't see, but eventually it's gonna come out.
Whoa. Listen, you took me to church and school all in one quick setting because I realized that how stress manifests itself in the body. But you don't realize how deep it goes. You know, because when you hit me with, that's like the final manifestation of, oh yeah, this, you
Yeah.
sick, and this, but oh, this has been going on.
Yeah.
This stress just gradually built and built, and I always like to use the analogy. It's like you constantly sweep something up under the rug, sweeping up
Mm,
the rug until you now you got this mountain up under your rug, and now it's manifesting stuff because you never dealt with whatever that
that's
stressor
it.
was. And with that, and I know all of us struggle with actually dealing with those, because a lot of people don't like to deal with issues head on. They much rather like, if I don't look at it, it won't see me. You shoulda- you know, and
It's
it's easier
true.
said than done at times. But
Yeah.
while you're trying to learn how to deal with those issues directly, you start trying to figure out what type of self care you can implement
Mm,
so you could kind of reduce your stress level.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'll be one of the first to say my self care level is not at the level that it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my self care typically consists of me going to the gym,
Mm, mm-hmm.
which is for some it's better than some, not better than all. But I have from time to time gone to get to a masseuse, which I need to go to because I'm well past time. But just small things like that can help
Mm-hmm.
reduce some of that stress in your body. It's
Yeah.
taking a little time for yourself.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
and I remember we talked the other day, and you were talking about how you like to take walks
I do.
and
I do.
how beneficial you like. Look, if I don't get my walk in,
I
you know,
just, yeah, I have learned, I'm a country girl by like just, growing up, I mean, I didn't grow up like in a cornfield or nothing like that, but just grew up outside,
right?
going outside. We used to, we would be outside like most kids all day long.
Mm-hmm.
We would get, when I'm from Florida, so we would get pick oranges off the tree, and we would pick off green oranges off the tree, which is the nastiest type of orange you could pick because it's not right. But it's like if I ain't gotta go back in the house, I'm gonna eat this green orange. But getting back to this year for me, a lot of self care was doing more things outside. Like I
Mm-hmm.
went kayaking. I went. It was child struggling, just kayaking into the side of the lake. But I made it, Lord. I went river tubing a couple of times. And when I, a bit outside of that, but going for walks, like even today, like it wasn't that I needed, well, I certainly need exercise, of course, we all do, but just going, like I just wanted to just walk. I wanted to be in the woods. I wanted to just be there because it's a stress reliever. Even, and it's scientifically proven, just looking at greenery, a green scenery
Mm-hmm.
can reduce your stress, that stress that you have.
Mm-hmm.
So moving your body, doing things that because just by that by itself is this self-care, right?
Mm-hmm.
But finding those things. And another thing when I think of self-care, is self-talk,
Mm.
self-compassion. Like how are we caring for ourselves, not just in the things we do, and especially for us black women, we like get our hair done, our nails done, and all that. That's self-care, and that's great. You look good on the outside, but in the inside, you's a mess. Right, you is a mess, girl.
Mm.
It's a mess up in here under all this hair. I don't have that much, but every now and then I do put a little hair on my head. But it's a mess. And
Right.
so what are you saying to yourself? What is
Mm.
going on the inside? So don't, one of the things is, don't mistake looking good, smelling good, being all on the scene or in the streets, as you like to say, as self-care
Right.
when it's not self-soothing. It's about putting on an act or letting people see like what you're doing, right? Because some folks could do that,
Mm-hmm.
but looking at this, looking at what am I saying to myself? To your
Mm-hmm.
point, as you said earlier, people are ignoring the real issues,
Right.
because they're not truly taking care of themselves.
Right.
Right. And so going in and saying, thinking about, what am I saying to myself? What type of language am I using when I make a mistake? What type of, am I allowing myself to feel my feelings? Am
Right.
I allowing that?
Right.
And I'm going through some of that myself. Like, am I allowing myself to feel what I'm feeling? And the self-talk, what am I using? So be having self-compassion for yourself. We can be very hard on ourselves. And I would assume, certainly for Black men, definitely, like, I'm strong, I don't need that. It's like, bro, you about to have a heart attack over here. I
Right.
see
Right.
you
Right.
over here with your eyes red, about to fall out, sir.
Well, and that is one of the things that I learned when I started actually going to therapy, was that it's okay to have someone, pour into your cup. It's okay for someone to be like, hey, I see you.
Yes.
I appreciate you. I'm proud of you. I know how hard you're working to be the best version of yourself.
Mm,
And it
mm,
doesn't take a lot, but hearing those positive affirmations can change your whole disposition.
yeah.
And we as Black men have to stop feeling like we don't need to be uplifted. You know,
Yeah.
we and
Good.
because our culture has told us, for one, that you don't have to do it, and then because they've been told that you don't have to do it, we feel like we don't need it,
Mm,
and which is the opposite. You need to do it because we all need uplifted, we all need to be
yeah.
poured into, and we need to hear it because those that truly care will give their last for those they love, and won't
Yeah.
bat an eye about it.
Mm-mm.
But and we do it because that's the ingrained in our genetics.
Yeah.
But at that same time, we can't pour from an empty cup.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm.
we need to be poured into from time to time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Do you think that, and I only know from a Black woman perspective, but do you think that Black men know when their cup is empty?
yes.
You do. What does that look and feel like? I'm curious.
Um, Drained.
Mm,
If a man ever just tells you he's tired,
mm-hmm.
and the look on his face is just like, I don't know if I can do anymore.
Mm,
And I'm telling you, I'm saying this from example because there have been times that I've just said, I'm tired.
mm,
And it's not just the physical tired,
mm-hmm.
like the stress of a day. No, it's the tired that I've extended myself, you know, emotionally, and been vulnerable. And
Mm,
I've given you everything that I have to give.
mm-hmm.
And it's just like, you're looking like, okay. And that's it. And you're still just expecting me to go on because that's just what I'm supposed to do.
Mm, mm. So like a robot, right? Like a AI,
Right.
just like,
Exactly.
no, yeah.
This,
So,
this what you're programmed to do. So keep going.
mm-hmm.
So, so men know, and some men may vocalize it, some won't,
Mm-hmm.
because they just don't believe that that. From part of it is, nope. Some men don't want to feel like, they don't want to show their vulnerability. They don't
Right,
want to appear weak,
right, right.
but it's actually the polar opposite. Me
Yeah,
being vulnerable with you is showing strength.
yeah, yeah.
I can still be a man and be vulnerable.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's so important. I think, probably for everybody, both parties or whatever, not even just, romantic relationships, family, friends, all of that, like, creating space for people
Hmm.
to be vulnerable, like a safe space.
Right.
And I think, especially as we're talking about like the holidays and people feeling, dealing with grief or whatever they're dealing with, there's all kinds of other things that are happening. Like, do folks have a safe space
Hmm.
to talk about how they feel? Maybe they don't go to therapy.
Right.
Maybe they're just with friends or family. Can I say I'm stressed? And one of the things I know for me, like, sometimes I just want to say it.
Hmm.
I don't really, it depends. Like, I just want to say how I feel, and I don't need somebody like to placate me, like, oh, it's gonna be all right, and you gonna
Right.
just listen.
Right.
That's it. You can go pray for me, do what you're gonna do after that, but just hear me.
Right.
Because I know it's gonna be all right at
Mm-hmm.
some point. I know whatever it is, because I believe in Jesus Christ, so I know it'll be all right.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still a human being.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I want to know that I'm heard, right? And you have to be in safe spaces, right, to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And I was having a talk with somebody early today, is like, make sure you communicate, with this other party that, hey, I need for you to hear me,
Yeah.
because of whatever, what I want to say. But
Right.
I think that's important too, if we're going to be vulnerable, and we need to. And if hopefully you have spaces like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? We have spaces like that. But if you don't, you need to start trying to cultivate them, because again, what I said earlier, some people, they ain't your people.
Right.
Or they're not your folks for this, or they're not your folks anymore. Sometimes
Right.
people, seasons are up that y'all
Right.
still trying to be in season with. It's over.
But
You out of
and
season.
I'm not gonna start with you, with, but
Woo!
but
Anyway.
I definitely agree. Creating those safe spaces and letting people that are in your circles know that it's okay. Feel free to voice, and like I'll tell certain friends that I are and say, hey, listen, or you need to talk. Cool. Just let me know whether this is one of those situations where you need to get it out and
Hmm.
or you want my input. And
Yeah, that's
because
good.
unfortunately for me, I'm a fixer.
Mm.
So when friends come and I'm automatically, as they're telling me what's going on, I'm like, hey, well, no, we need to, and but that may not be what they need at that time. So
Yeah.
I'm working to learn to be like, hey, if is this, which conversation is this? Is this where I just need to
Mm.
listen,
Hmm.
or is this one of those where I need to get my notepad out with the notes on what we need to do?
Right. We gonna solve the problem.
Exactly. I'm gonna ride with you either way,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
learning that is, I think, is
Hmm.
a valuable tool as a friend, companion, whatever it may be. Understanding, you know, when it's time to be just a great listener and just allow them to vent and get that off. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. One thing I wanted to talk about, because we are talking about the holidays, is people overspending and why.
mm,
Because I thought of, when I was just kind of thinking of, what are some things, I know we're talking about grief and other things like that, and maybe, loneliness and stuff like that. But when you see people overspending,
hmm
it's one thing, you got a budget, I'm gonna spend this, whatever, and do this. But you just see folks out here just, baby, you're not gonna make rent. The condo not gonna get paid.
mm,
Like, what is that about, right? Why
right,
do you feel this need to overspend? And so you could have someone, maybe single parent or something like that, and they're trying to, well, I don't want my kids to miss out, or maybe a parent who ain't really been there, and now you want to try to spend all your little change, when really the child just really wants your presence, right?
mm,
Or like I was saying earlier, we kind of out here trying to show out, trying to show everybody I'm good, I'm all right, I don't need nobody, and you buying all this stuff that, what's the little thing? What's the people use, Afterpay and yeah,
Afterpay and
Afterpay and all the other little
oh yeah,
Klarnas and all of them, or maxing out your credit card because you're trying to show out, you're trying to show people I'm all right, and you gonna be worse off than you were.
right,
So one of the things that again, I was thinking about is like folks that are out here overspending, overextending themselves. What is that really about for you, right? What is that really about? So
Woo.
just something to think about.
That is definitely something because that is, that's tough. Because if people are they caught up with, as the old folks you say, keeping up with the Joneses,
Mm-hmm.
trying to create this appearance for other people,
Mm-hmm.
or do or are you trying to buy your happiness? And
Yeah.
materialistic things are one of those things that self-soothes for a very short period of time.
It's short lived.
Exactly. Then you sitting there like, I don't even know why I bought this.
I don't even like this.
I don't even like it. I ain't even gonna wear it no way.
don't wear it nowhere.
Like I need to see, let me see if I still got my receipt.
Listen,
So
I know somebody way back in the day. It's actually somebody close to me. I'm not gonna say no names, but they probably
don't
wouldn't
call
mind if
no
I
names.
did.
Don't call no names.
I'm not call no names, but when we were back in college, they would, when they were feeling depressed or having just whatever feelings, they would go buy all this stuff. Just buy a
Mm,
bunch of stuff. We'd be at the mall, just buy all this stuff.
mm,
And I would call like the next couple of days, like, girl, what you doing? Like taking the stuff back to the mall. Because they didn't buy it because they wanted it.
mm-hmm.
They bought it because it filled this hole,
Right.
essentially. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're doing a lot of things financially, putting ourselves in a bad negative financial position because it's filling a hole. Or maybe it's you not putting yourself in a negative financial position. Maybe you just buying a bunch of stuff and I don't know, you got all type of toilet paper just piled up,
Stockpiling. Just
stockpiling stuff. You know, you go to some people's houses and they got all this new stuff. They never worn all these tags, and it's just like, what is you gonna do with all this? What is that about? So I definitely encourage those folks who may, especially if they don't, a lot of times people don't see that as a struggle. It's, I just like to buy stuff. I like shopping. I like, but like, babe, you don't even need all that.
well, but you hit the nail on the head earlier. You know when you talked about the libation, but though negative coping is not always like using drugs or drinking.
No,
You know,
absolutely not.
just like, oh, I just gotta, and I don't, let me be clear because I don't want those people that enjoy retail therapy to come trying to punch me later
No,
because I'm not talking about retail therapy.
we're not talking about that.
I'm talking about those that almost like that it's just like they buy. I won't say obsessive compulsive, but when they're stressed, that's
Mm-hmm.
just like their go to. But and
Mm-hmm.
they're buying things that they have zero use for,
Yeah,
or they
yeah,
or in their calmer frame of mind, they would never buy because they're like, I don't even need to spend that kind of money on that.
right.
Things like that. I'm talking to just that specific group of people. You know, um,
I would say too. I mean, it's emotional spending like emotional eating,
right.
right? Same idea.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when we're, especially again, being in the time where you could just buy everything from home, you don't have to go nowhere buy nothing.
Ooh,
You can
listen,
pick your phone up, baby. It's
listen,
been $200
ooh, listen.
like that.
Look, I need to cancel my Amazon account. That's all I'm
You need to
saying.
delete the app. What is it?
Just,
You
just
know, people, what you do? And they be like, I'm fasting from Instagram, or I'm, some of y'all need to be fasting from Amazon and whatever Sheen and all of that.
listen. Look, at one point, because I hate going in stores.
Mm,
So I'm like I'll do my shopping. I just there are people that love to go in and just be in the store, but I much rather sit here in the confines of my home or wherever I'm at and do my get whatever items it is and have it delivered to my door. Call me lazy, call me whatever
no,
you
I
like,
get that.
but Amazon have my number. I'm just gonna tell you. I'll be on there and I like on Facebook. I've joined some of these Facebook groups with the different deals and the coupon codes.
Like you're supposed to be saving money, but you buy stuff, like you be like,
I'm
you got a
like,
coupon code, but
listen,
you still
look,
spend $500.
look, I'll be on there looking for stuff for other people. Hey, you think you need one? But I digress. I digress. But back to seriously, they're all that. I said, I think we were saying the same. We have to work on being accountable to ourselves.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
do a lot of things, and we like to place blame elsewhere.
Mm,
And as opposed to just again taking that time and sitting with ourselves in that quiet time, not with the TV on, not with the radio playing lowly in the back. I don't care whether it's jazz, it's the pastor saying a sermon. I don't care. Sometimes we have to sit with ourselves, and
yes.
quiet is kept. You can probably hear the Lord a whole lot better
Ooh,
silent. I'm just gonna tell you, you might not like what he say, but then again, you just might, because he might be telling you, look, if you stay the course, I'm with you.
Yeah.
But we have to be able to sit with ourselves.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
and life becomes a lot simpler at times that way. Um,
Yes.
and we can kind of work through some of what we perceive as major hurdles. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, I'm lonely, but guess what? I'm all right.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's a new day.
Yeah. And you ain't dealing with no foolishness.
Listen, ain't nobody goddamn calling my phone with no craziness. You know,
It's true. It's so funny you use that phrase because that's the phrase I use when I'm like, I don't need no noise around me. Like, I need to go sit with myself.
mm-hmm,
Let me go sit with myself and, you know, be quiet
mm-hmm,
because you can't hear from God, honestly, truly hear. I mean, there's so many ways you can hear from God, right? We got sermons, we got songs,
right,
we got a
mm-hmm,
word for somebody, got your Bible, all of those things.
mm-hmm,
But when God is really trying to talk to us, we need that silence, right?
mm-hmm,
And again, if you got so much mental clutter, you got so much, again, piling on and piling on and piling on, you
right,
much rather, oh, I'm gonna listen to this podcast by Reverend TDJ. TDJ's is great,
mm-hmm,
but you need to listen to the Lord about yourself,
mm-hmm,
sitting with those thoughts and feelings because again, it's going to be uncomfortable. These things are going to come up, but you have to kind of deal with the discomfort before you can get to that place of comfort. You got to really deal with that. And I used to be a therapist, as some of
mm-hmm,
y'all might know.
mm-hmm,
And those are, some of the things that, people would come in and they have like this whole list of things and all of this stuff. And it's like, we can only work on one thing at a time.
right,
What do you want to do first?
right,
Sometimes that's what you need to do with yourself, right? Is what do I need to just sit here about first, and sitting in that silence and feeling the discomfort. You need
mm,
to feel the discomfort. And here's the other thing about being silent, the food, back to emotional eating, like, oh, I'm silent, but let me eat this popcorn, let me eat this, let me eat that. And all it is just covering up your feelings and emotions.
mm,
That's all it's doing. So really, get uncomfortable. The
mm,
only way you're going to grow and change and be the person you have been called to be on this earth is first get uncomfortable.
mm. Okay, Reverend Smith,
First of
you,
all,
you done came with the sermon.
first of all,
Listen, hey, don't start. I'm just
I'm gonna start on you in a minute, but go ahead.
seriously, and you said a very, very valuable thing. We have to get comfortable and sit in that uncomfortableness,
Yeah,
and so we can work our way through it. Because if not, it's never gonna leave.
it's never going to
You know,
leave.
you can run all day, but guess what? It's gonna stay there. It's going to be there. When you can't sleep at night, that's why, because it's still there.
Still there.
And
Wreaking havoc.
exactly.
Wreaking havoc.
And one of the things that I like, right when I first started the show, I started doing I did meditation.
Mm,
I don't do it nearly as much as I used to. I still do it some, because sometimes it's just necessary to kind of help me clear my mind.
mm-hmm.
Um, and that is one of the, for me, I still tell people I don't even know if I do it right. Um, but it's so beneficial. Hold on, let me go through and say hi to a couple some people that have chimed in the chat. Can you see the chat too?
I can see it over here. Oh, I can
Yeah,
see people I
yeah.
know.
Yeah. There's uh Tasha,
Miss
I hope
Tasha, Miss
Tasha,
Tasha Grayson. I know
um,
her.
um, Miss Helen,
Miss Helen
Queen.
is my cousin too. I know.
Okay, the family then pulled up as
I
always.
know it.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's see, Jaquees, um, Tandra,
Oh, Tandra. Hey, it's a family friend from a long time ago. Hey, oh my goodness.
look, and my sister Selena. Look,
Oh, hey, Selena. I remember Selena. Hey.
yes, listen. She sent me a message the other day. She said, "Are you back?" I was like, "Yes, I'm back." And I have to give Selena so much credit because she was so supportive. And I felt like when I stopped, I felt like I disappointed people.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm sure
but
she was not disappointed.
I know she look. I know without a doubt she's got my back. And let's see, was it Sherry?
Cherie, is my friend Cherie. Hey, girl.
Listen, listen. That's what I'm talking about. The family pulls up with the
I
support.
know. I know it. I know.
And
I love what Selena just said here is that silence is deafening. It is. It's uncomfortable and necessary. New mantra, one day at a time, one moment at a time. That's all I could do. Let me tell
mhm,
you what my mantra is being a almost 50-year-old menopausal woman, which is I'm doing my
cut
best.
it.
I am doing my best. Because some days I'll be like, oh my God, I am doing my best.
And that's real deal. That is real deal. All we can do is the best that we can do.
We're doing the best. And that's okay.
You know, I think we can be hyperly critical of
Oh
ourselves.
gosh. Yes.
Um, in the for the month of December, I would encourage everybody to go with this. Give yourself some grace.
Mm,
The grace that you extend to everybody else, give yourself some. Because
yes.
we extend more grace to folks that ain't a bit more deserving, but you know, we need to give ourselves a little bit more grace. Um,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, we're doing the best that we can with the
We're
tools that
doing
we
the
have.
best we can.
And ain't now one of us Jesus. Because I look, I ain't even try and walk on the water. Let's start there. So we're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
We're gonna make
Yeah.
more mistakes than we would like. But at the end of the day, we just have, God bless you with another day. Try to do better that next day.
Yeah. That's all you have. Really all you have is the moment in front of you.
Right.
It's okay to plan and think about the future and what you want to do next, but in order to get to that future, you gotta, really deal with the moment in front of you. And
Mm-hmm.
that's all you have, right? And so back to grief and grieving,
Mm-hmm.
that is the moment that you have, right? I know you want to get out of the grief. I know you want things to be really back to the same. It's not going to happen. So, really kind of sitting in that space of like, this is only the moment I have, and I'm doing the best I can with it. And, and that's okay, right? That's okay. So I think to your point, giving myself grace, giving myself, the self compassion, the self care, the things that I need, I'm talking to God. Like these are all of the tools, right? We need to be able to um, deal with, life, right? And I think the more we just understand that life comes with change, it comes with pain, it comes with difficulty. It also comes with success and love and fun. It also comes with that. But understand, like, there's just going to be like the balance, right? There's just, there's not going to be just always one of one thing and always one of another thing.
Mm-hmm.
I know sometimes life can feel like it's one thing after the other. It's always this, always that. But you got to pay attention to your perspective. You
Mm-hmm.
got to really pay attention to how you see things, right? Because you can be in the world's worst situation. Like back 7, 8 years ago for myself, I just felt like, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing I've ever been through.
Mm-hmm.
And halfway through it, I just changed my perspective and like, well, if I gotta go through it, let's do it, And the first part was like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. This is terrible. Just about to fall
Right.
apart. And it is, it's perspective, and only you can change your perspective.
Mm.
That's only you can do that. It's
Right.
hard work, yes, right? It's hard work to change from a scarcity mindset, from depression, from all of that. But
Mm.
it can be done. You can
Right.
actually do it. But you
Right.
gotta again do the work. So, what's your perspective? And so that's why I say just take little baby steps just in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
What's one of the things that one of the practices when I'm coaching is
Mm-hmm.
I ask people like, so what's the negative thought that you have often, right? Like what's this kind of pervasive thought? So if you're having some sort of thought now during this holiday season that kind of keeps coming up, what is that? Identify it. How do you feel after you think that thought, right? And then what do you do afterwards? Then I go back and say, all right, let's change this thought. Just this one, not all the other 1,500, because we ain't got that type of time. Just this one thought. How can you change this thought to feel differently, right? What if I want a different emotion from depression, anger, anxiety, whatever? What is this new thought?
Mm,
And then write a new thought out.
mm,
Write it. Use a pen and paper. Stop using computer. Use your hands and write this
mm,
new thought. And then every time you think this negative thought, this depressive thought, this anxious thought, this negative whatever frustrating thought, let that be a trigger, because you're gonna think that negative thought, because that's the pathway, right,
mm,
that's been laid. But in
mm,
order to build a new pathway, then once you think that is a trigger to think this new thought, right?
mm. Okay.
It's a trigger. So you keep replacing it, keep replacing it, keep replacing it, keep replacing it. And
Mm,
then now this is your new thought,
mm,
right? And you do it with a bunch of other thoughts, then you become the person you've been called to be.
mm. Listen, I almost said put your cash app out there because they need.
I don't even have Cash App. What is wrong with me?
Oh Lord, li- listen. The Lord knew what He was doing when He said, "Hey, reach out, Nika. If you want to you gonna bring the show back. Reach out to someone. This is the person I need you to do it with." And I appreciate you as always, because you were like, "Let me check my schedule," and he was like, "I think I can do it this day," um, because this information is what people need.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that are afraid to go and sit and talk with someone,
Yes.
not realizing that the only thing that's limiting stopping them from doing it is themselves.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, there are people there that would love to be able to help them to
Yes.
work through whatever it is they're going through.
Yeah.
And it's not a magic pill.
Mm-mm.
There's no hocus pocus. Like I said, you sit there and you talk,
Yeah.
and when they finally open up and they write off that 10,000 things, you be like, hold up, wait, let's start. Let's start with this one, and let's work.
This
And
work.
sometimes just working with that one is the formula for the
Yeah.
rest of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Once you begin to formulate a framework to how to deal with one issue, it usually can translate to the rest of them.
Hmm.
But you got to start with the one. So, again, I highly encourage getting therapy, getting coaching, getting what you need.
Hmm.
Let 2024 be the year, or let's start now. You ain't got to wait 2024, baby. You can do it right now today. But let this year, if you've never seen a therapist, if you've never been, to done anything like that, schedule one session just to see. If you don't like that person, just like if you don't like this Walmart over here because it's too ghetto, right? You go find a different therapist. Don't let that be the one that stops you.
Right.
Keep going, right? Just keep trying to find it out. And the therapist is not there to tell you what to do,
Right.
not what they do, but they're there to create a space for you so that you can, begin to kind of share and figure out what is this thing that is this difficulty for me, and how can I handle that? And so they just help you talk about that, right? A lot of times we want to go to our friends, and our friends are fine and they may have wisdom, but a lot of people telling you what they would do.
Hmm.
That's, I
Right.
don't want to hear what you would do. I want to, what is it that I need to do for
Right.
me, right? And so, yeah, go ahead.
No, no, I was about to say, because like for me, and I know what the way I describe it is a therapist just allows you to sort it all out.
Yeah,
They don't give you solution,
no,
but they allow you to sort it all out so you can go through systematically and start kind of making the decisions you need to make.
yes,
You know, and and like I said, our friends, they love us dearly, and they see us in a situation that so they want to give us the best advice possible. But
absolutely.
they aren't walking in our shoes. So sometimes that advice is not the best advice, and it's coming from a place of love.
Absolutely.
But so we shouldn't look for the answers in anyone else outside of ourselves.
Mm, mm.
And so allow people to allow you to kind of help sort those things out, and then say, hey, listen, these are your options. This here it is.
Yeah,
And if I'm your friend, I'm gonna ride with you,
yeah,
however you decide. Now, if you got somebody that's going upside your head, no,
That's
I
it.
can't ride with that because you
No.
look now. I'm gonna need bun money,
Right.
but
Somebody go to jail.
you see what I'm saying. But when it comes to just in general though, as I try to encourage people to be that friend that supports them, help them work through it,
Yeah.
but allow them to work, allow them to
Yeah.
work through it.
Let them know what to do.
Even though I'm a fixer, and I'm still working on it. The Lord's still working on me. I'm tell you the truth. You tell me, hey, this what's going on. I'm sitting there trying to come up with ways like if we do this, hey, all right, let's do this, this, and this. Nate sitting there looking like that ain't even what I wanted right now. I just need to tell I'm about to cut somebody out, and I need you to talk me off the wall.
Ah!
My bad. So, I'm an imperfect person,
Yeah.
and I acknowledge that. I own that. But that's why we're here is to create this dialogue and to talk.
Yeah.
Um, I bring on professionals such as yourself. I'm the friendly neighborhood advocate, and you're the person that went to school for it, and and actually know the diagnosis and all that good stuff. But as always, I appreciate you. I hope everyone enjoyed the
Oh yeah.
show. I know I did.
Me too.
I learned a lot as always. Um, I think going forward, I think this is going to be just a monthly show
Mm.
versus every week
Yeah.
um, because it was just so stressful for me.
Mm.
Um, just me being transparent. I wanted to do it, and I felt I had to do it weekly, and but I've got to find that balance because
Yeah.
I want to help people, and I want to make sure that we are creating a safe space for us to come and talk about these issues.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like it's needed, whether it's one person on or 30 people on, I could care
Mm-hmm.
less.
Yeah.
But we're gonna keep pushing forward. Um, Thanks you everyone that signed on and
Yes.
listened for a second today. Um, Thank you, Nika. Oh, I have to give a shout out to FAMU. Um, they won the SWAC.
Yes.
So
Go to the Celebration Bowl,
to look,
December 16th,
December 16th.
12
What's up?
p.m. in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, wait a minute. Don't give me that look, man. Hold on. I'm giving y'all props. Don't cut it out now. Cut it
Oh,
out.
sorry.
I'm put I'm, I'm putting I'm
I'm used to you being a hater, so but go ahead.
oh my God. We Miss Smith, can we get some help for her? Cause she cutting up.
I do need help.
But seriously, thank you. Shout out to FAMU though, seriously, because that's a big deal.
Yes.
Are you going to the game?
I might be. I'm considering. I'm trying to get me a road dog partner to go with. So
Okay,
if
okay.
anybody wants to go to the game with me,
And
let me
look,
know.
family, she just put it out there. Hey,
But they don't live here, so
it's perfect time for them to come up.
That's true. Very true.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Atlanta's a nice city. A little too busy for me, but Atlanta's a nice city. But thank you again. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna let Reverend Smith take us out with a prayer.
No, you didn't. Ooh, okay.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
No,
I'll do
I
it.
could. No, I know how to pray.
I know you know how to pray. Why
Okay,
you
well, go
trying to act
ahead,
shy?
then. No,
No, you
go
trying to
ahead.
act shy. No.
I would have prayed, but if you want to pray so bad, you go ahead.
With that being said, the floor is given to Miss Smith now.
Woo. All right, let's settle in. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you so much for this time, Lord, and for this platform. I hope that we pray that these words have been a soothing balm for those who have been listening, Lord, or have been helpful, Lord, beyond just this video, that they're able to take this and meditate on it and use it and share it with others, Lord. So we pray for the healing of those that are grieving. We pray for those who feel lonely. We pray for those who are emotionally dealing with things that only really you can help them with, Lord. We pray that they come to you and they sit at your feet and they sup with you, Lord, and that they hand over all of the things that that are holding on to, they hand them over to you, Lord, and rest in your lap. So we are grateful, Lord, for your presence, and for being here and giving us everything we need, Lord, to walk out our purpose in our lives, Lord. So, and we're thankful for Brian, for Terrell, for being here and serving us, Lord, in this way, and for this platform. We pray that this platform grows by leaps and bounds and serving those who are in need or in search of mental health assistance, Lord. So we are grateful. All these blessings we ask in your son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Whew. Thank you, ma'am. Um, Everybody, again, thank you. I appreciate y'all. I will be posting again in probably next week or so with the new date and kind of going from there. I'm going to see if I can, when I can get Miss Smith back. Have to work within her schedule here, but um, thank you all. I appreciate y'all. God bless y'all and good night.